he had been laid off and part of shutdowns, and one would have thought that he wouldn't have been able to have the money that he had invested in his RSPs, which he was very careful about his whole life, and savings, to send us, especially two students, one the year after the other, away from Labrador to another location with plane costs and housing costs and university fees. We were able to avail of a university education due to student loans and the superior career education program that our school had, which allowed us to understand these things and how they were available to us, and dedicated professional teachers who encouraged us to go and study and learn and be sure that we were going to be the best citizens we could be, whether or not we ever were able to give back in a workforce or not, or found ourselves doing what we believed indeed to be the best thing we could do while raising a child, to raise a child in the home, but yet always being hounded to go to work, yet not in our profession or for anything that we had strived towards in any case. The negativity just wouldn't let go. But when I came here, we weren't here. My goodness. I remember us sitting in our apartment in the city. We moved into an apartment in the city. And we were sitting there, and relatives were visiting us from down south. And this was only September the 5th, and we were all happy to see each other. And by September the 11th, here we were being bombed in the United States. And the religion of Islam was being blamed, rather than a group of militants or a group of people who were looking for money, be it at the bottom of the World Trade Center or be it to destroy the building that housed the trade for the United States or for New York, or, the whole bombing, if you just looked at it for what it was somebody was imploding, really, the whole financial system, which may have even been a message from God, because really we had risen up so far with the advent of the green machine, the money machine, the banking machines in 1985, I believe it was, at least that we understood. Money had become so obscure, so invisible, like the Zeppelin, the poof, 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 just not even... people are spending money that they don't even own, that they don't have to hold to spend, that they don't have to see to spend, that they don't even have to realize they have or remember to have or keep tabs on. And also then there was the war began. And if you had any intellect at all, it just felt like you were being held down in front of a computer, willing, unwilling, usually being held spiritually, as in the Scrooge movie, to somebody who had caused the trouble, who was involved in the war, without you quite getting it, because your persona, your spirit was larger than life, because you had set yourself to come through with your body, because you have a message for God. But suddenly you're saying things, and you're having to walk yourself around things that are spurting out of your mouth, Gemini, shell, ocean, shell, and wave. Everything you're saying has something to do with somebody else, and you can feel them taunting you and spiritually, and it's about me, it's not about you, and you're trying to clean up their words and change their point of view, and you're starting to look at people who are Jewish and wonder, why would you think they weren't good? And you really are trying to losing your religion, I guess, like the REM song, to get back in contact with yourself. And George Bush is in control in the United States, or trying to run a country, which he probably has very little power himself. And when he leaves, he's going to go back to Texas. I don't know if his family had oil fields, but there's talk that he's coming from a family that has to do with oil fields, which really sort of takes away. In one situation, he understands the oil war, but in another, it's probably a conflict of interest. And I don't even notice that it has anything to do with us until, my goodness, just this past year, last year, I researched Mr. Harper because I was wanting to know if he was a lawyer. And in the end, he actually attained a university degree quite late in life, because he had been working for the Shell Oil Company in Alberta. So here he is also coming from an oil company. No, I didn't know. And I did work to understand this. And when he's finished his time in government, he'll return to an oil company, perhaps to a better position, I don't know. As we approach November the 11th, in the midst of what could be a communist or a Nazi or any kind of a takeover of our rights and freedoms as Canadians, trapped in the middle of a visible oil war, which really has very little to do with us and is being blamed on religion, when religion is never what causes people to pick up guns and shoot. It's just what's blamed for people picking up guns and shooting. When you study religions and look at the dogma and look at the festivals and look at how they truly are celebrated under God, they are about peace. In the Bible it says, salute no man, carry no weapon. We are not in the middle of religious wars.